to Born for This Stories, where we speak the truths no one told us, so you don't have to carry this alone. Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Sarah, and we're very excited to have her on. We share a common diagnosis with our sons through hypospadias. So one thing that was big for Peter and I is to continue to grow this community of having stories shared, because it helps all of us better prepare and go through this process. So we're excited that she is feeling comfortable enough to share her story with her and her family. And yeah, we'll just dive right in. Do you want to give us a little background on you, Miss Sarah, and your family?
Sure. Hi, I'm Sarah. I have two boys. My oldest has hypospadias. We're from Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. When all this was happening, we were actually living in Toronto. We just recently moved down to Niagara Falls to be closer to family.
Oh, wow.
And it's been a road. Not one we ever expected, but it's one we're on. So
Yeah. And are you guys currently still on your journey?
we're past, fingers crossed, the worst
Mhm.
of it. We've had two surgeries, and my son was planned to have a two-stage surgery plan. So our surgeries are behind us, though, barring any complications or fistulas that might pop up later in life. Um, we're in the clear, I say cautiously.
Yes, I understand that completely.
Yeah. I mean, you hear the stories of stuff going wrong, but we have a follow-up with our pediatric urologist in October, and then I think the plan is that we're going to see him roughly once a year just to check on things. And my understanding, it's important at puberty, and then once they're fully grown, to just have that checkup to make sure everything's still how it's supposed to be.
Yes, absolutely. So it sounds like you guys chose a team that was inside your city or close to where you're at in Canada?
Yeah, we're very fortunate. Like I said, when this happened, we were in Toronto, and which is where SickKids Hospital is. And I don't know if you've heard of SickKids. It's actually one of the top children's hospitals on the planet, which is fantastic. And so part of our journey actually is because it's a world-renowned hospital, and because of COVID, which shut down a lot of things, we were on a really long wait list. So my son didn't have his surgery until he was 3,
Oh,
and he was on the waiting list since birth. But we actually didn't have our surgery at SickKids because we were lucky enough to live near another world-renowned children's hospital called McMaster, which is about another hour down the road. And so around 18 months, we joined their wait list. Like when my son was 18 months old, we joined their wait list, and they actually called us within about a week of each other, which was kind of funny. But we decided to go with McMaster. We had a great relationship with that surgeon, and he actually studied after, I believe it's Snodgrass at the clinic.
Yep.
Sorry, he didn't. His mentor studied under Snodgrass, and anyways, he's part of the line.
Okay.
Um, Anyways, like I said, we just got better vibes and felt better about it. And that's where we ended up having our surgery, and that's where we continue to go for follow-ups.
Awesome. Well, I definitely want to acknowledge the fact that I love that you guys were able to get two different opinions and then make the best decision for your family, because that is a big decision and a big choice moving forward with that.
Yeah, that was one of my questions is what kind of research and how did you lead up to making those decisions that you guys ended up making on what provider how did you decide you trusted that one and that their methods were what you wanted to go with for your son?
So when we were originally referred to SickKids, I mean, because we're in Canada, we have our healthcare system where basically your doctor refers you to the closest healthcare specialist, and that's usually who you go to. But in cases like this, you are allowed to ask to be referred elsewhere. And so, but we weren't questioning SickKids. They're a great hospital. But we were told like the wait list was 3 to 4 years long.
Wow.
They service everybody. They service the whole country, kids from outside of the country, whereas McMaster services Southern Ontario.
Okay.
So it's a lot smaller pool that they have to pick from, and they also have great surgeons. Um, and we were researching all the doctors, and both of them told us, you know what, be on both wait lists, go with who calls you first, and just let the other one know. And so that's what we did. We did talk about going to Texas, but it honestly just wasn't in our budget. We don't have that kind of money, and we don't have any family that would have that kind of money to do that trip from Canada. And we were very fortunate to have good options here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and to have multiple options as well. Like that's definitely seems to be a common theme depending on where you are, residing in. Of course, we're in Florida, and we had one option. In the big state of Florida, there are no other options inside of your town. So um, it was just very, very interesting.
Just like you were saying, we have like 4 children's hospitals within a 6-hour drive. So
Wow,
yeah.
Well,
it's nice. When needed, yes, definitely nice when needed. Would you mind sharing the moments that you found out that Gordie had hypospadias?
Yeah. So when I was pregnant and we had our 20-week ultrasound, the big gender one, we were told we were having a girl. And so we prepared for a girl. We were all ready. And, fast forward, I'm in delivery. Baby comes out, placed on my chest, and nurses say, "Congratulations, it's a girl." And I remember thinking, "Are you sure? Because that looks like a scrotum." Um, and my husband told me that he had the same thought. Anyways, the pediatrician came in, and they actually had to take him to the NICU right away because he had a pneumothorax. It was minor, but they wanted to make sure. And they're like, "Okay, so while your baby's there, we're gonna run some tests and stuff, and we're just gonna find out." And they were very careful not to use any gender terms.
Okay.
And we were like, okay. So we actually didn't find out for about 2 hours that we had a boy because they were taking care of the critical emergency first. And then they came back and they said, we ran some chromosome tests, and it's a boy. He has hypospadias. It's a severe case. So my son, his not to get graphic, but it kind of is the world.
Yeah.
His penis was fused to a scrotum. So we couldn't even see the severity of his hypospadias or his Gordie at the time. So and the pediatrician was like, "It's an easy fix. It's it's a regular thing we see, a regular defect that we see. It's quick surgery. In 6 months, you'll be done." Get the referral to SickKids, which took us 4 months to even get that appointment.
Wow.
And when we got there, and then the surgeon at SickKids sat us down and said, "This is an extremely severe case. You're looking at 3 or 4 surgeries, maybe more." And I think that was the moment that my husband and I were like, "Oh, this is big. Like this is like." I was crushed. Not crushed. I was devastated. Like, you want to
absolutely.
protect your kids, and you can't protect them from that. But yeah, it was the whole whirlwind kind of thing.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I definitely can empathize with that and have obviously similar feelings and emotions with what we went through. And yeah, it's definitely can be isolating. And we had a similar experience where they're like, "Oh, it's just a really quick, easy fix," and then come to find out it's not. It's 3 surgeries, 18 months at least, and the whole, you know, the whole recovery process. And so those downplayed moments are hard when you get the reality of what it is. But talking a little bit more about that whole like diagnosis and experience, um, because you guys had you had months before you could actually get into the specialist. What kind of support did you have, or where did you find the most information? Because I know for myself, like, I just went down the rabbit hole. I went to the internet and I searched everything that I possibly could, and I binged all the possible information I could find, but mainly it was, like, on Google and in the Facebook groups. There's no, like, books or podcast or anything that was really there to help support the parent. Where
Yeah, it seemed almost like more research-based stuff for doctors or professionals that I didn't really understand, but not a whole lot
Yeah.
for the parents.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. The only thing we had to go off was the pediatrician said hypospadias. So we went down that rabbit hole. We Google, I found the Facebook groups. I found like 5 different ones and trying to figure out, which one was right. But nobody really talked about the whole fusion that our son had.
Yeah.
So we were like, is that something else? Like we had no idea. And so I was kind of going down this rabbit hole, hoping I was even looking for the right thing, which turns out it was. And then I found there is a book that was written by parents for parents, and that was very helpful, which of course the name is escaping me now. I'll have to send you a link to it.
For sure.
And that was really great. I found one kids book, which was more medical
Oh, yeah.
than for kids, and it's like I like that they tried, but I'm like I want something, like a board book or something. I know it's a complex thing to kind of dumb down for kids, but there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's really nothing.
Yeah, I have seen that book, and I had the same thoughts when I read through it. I was like, "Oh my gosh," like, even if our son could understand and, like, talk right now, I wouldn't explain it this way, which is fine, but it was just very, again, like, more, like, medical, and, yeah, I felt like for a young child to connect with that would be difficult anyway, and I feel like, part of your guys' journey that you shared is how important it was to have, like, open communication between, your family, you and Gordie, and would you like to talk a little bit about that? Because, like, for our listeners so far, they've only heard our story, and our son, we started surgeries at 6 months, and he was done by 18 months, so we, talked what we could, but obviously it's a much different dynamic at that age.
Yeah, he still has no clue. So
Yeah, I will. By the time my son had his surgery, like I said, it was about a month after his 3rd birthday. So because he was older and understood a lot more, we took a lot of care kind of focusing on giving doctor a positive view. Like, Miss Rachel has a doctor's episode, which was fantastic. It was a lot of help. Any like kids show that had a doctor's episode, like I think Bluey's got one and Spidey's got one, like anything like that. Like we got him his own doctor's kit, and he has a Mickey Mouse that goes with him to all his doctor's appointments, and we just really emphasized like the positive outlook and talking to him about everything. Like the day before, we would always tell him, all right, we're going to see the surgeon tomorrow. The surgeon's going to put you to sleep and he's going to work on you. And when you wake up, you're going to feel strange. You're going to feel sore, but it's okay. Mommy and daddy are going to be right there and you'll get a popsicle.
Yeah.
And those magic popsicles,
Yeah.
were like the cure all. Cause we just told him like, you can have as many popsicles as you want. And he loved it. And his favorite color is rainbow, and they had a rainbow popsicle, and he loved it. So it was fantastic. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I think it goes to show the decisions we have to make as, like, the caregivers and the parents can be difficult, but thankfully the kids are super resilient. They don't know any different, right? They just know what we tell them at that age. So it sounds like you navigated that beautifully. Popsicles are the cure for all. I think even for some adults, especially rainbow ones.
it's 3-year-olds can be bribed with popsicles. Yeah, pretty much anything.
we use that tactic to this day.
Yes, for sure. what's the age difference between your kiddos?
17 months.
Oh, wow. Would you be open to talking about, I just feel like from a mother's perspective, like if our oldest would have had hypospadias and then I found out with our second pregnancy that it was another boy, I would have had all kinds of different emotions than, the first time before you know anything. Um, did you
Yep.
experience any of that?
There was a lot of that. When we found out he was a boy when we were still pregnant, and we had discussed about maybe doing either a 3D ultrasound or a more intense ultrasound to find out. But we're like, you know what? It's not going to change anything if we do it in utero or wait till he's out. And I don't even remember. I think it's like 25% chance of siblings having it or something, 20 or 25. And it was something that was always in our mind. And it's kind of like you're holding your breath.
Yeah.
And just waiting. And then he came out. He was intact, made the way he was meant to be, and it was perfect. So, but then we went on a whole other journey when he was 5 weeks old. But that's not hypospadia related. So
Yeah, but I know that you had mentioned it in just some of the questions and like the getting prepped for us chatting today. And I think that the way that you wrote it was so beautiful, because coping and going through these different medical conditions with our kiddos can be difficult. But would you mind sharing a little bit of that story? Because like the way, even similar to how you have both of the specialty centers call you like a week in each other, like you just have like this very different, interesting story, which does put some things into perspective sometimes. And I think that can be helpful.
Especially with the timing of the two separate instances that needed to kind of come into fruition for you.
yeah, definitely. Because I mean, when we were told about Gordie's surgeries, I mean, you've been through it. Your world is shaken. Like you don't have anything to grasp on. Like you don't know. It's a scary time, and we hadn't had surgery by this point when my second son was born. And at 5 weeks old, he got RSV. Um, and sorry,
It's okay.
we took him to the ER when he was 5 weeks old, and they had to intubate him. It's really great that we were so close to SickKids. He was transferred there. He was intubated for 7 days on oxygen for another 5. And then they had to wean him off morphine.
Yeah.
He was on morphine and ketamine while intubated and sedated. And so in total, we were in the hospital for 2 weeks. After that terrifying 2 weeks, the surgeries didn't seem so scary.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, that definitely changes the perspective, I'm sure.
Even being in there during that time, like there were we were in a room with 3 other families, and there were families who had 2 kids there for RSV. Like it was that season that RSV
Yeah.
hit everywhere. And the way that my family came together for us during that time, it was very difficult. And yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, the first surgery was still nerve-wracking and not fun by any means, but I felt it was a little bit easier after that.
Oh, yeah, I can.
Not that I recommend that route for anybody.
Correct. Yes. I I can definitely understand that. And you are so strong. That's for sure. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to apologize. I mean, those are our babies and that's intense at such a young age and for such a period of time. How is he doing now?
Oh, now he's almost 3 now. Um, he's second born. He's our little daredevil. He thinks he can fly,
Yep.
likes to jump off of things, likes to run around as fast as he can. Yep. And if he's not in the water, then the world's ending. So he's a swimmer, that one.
Man, our kids sound so much alike. We also have 2 boys, so it's chaos all the time.
Oh, yes.
A fun chaos, but chaos nonetheless.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. Um, is there anything else that you wanted to hit on about your guys' journey or experience? I know that you said you have like really good family support. I know that was super helpful for us as well. It makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, through like the whole RSV thing and through both surgery. So after my son's first surgery, we actually stayed in the hospital for 4 days. And so having family that could look after our younger son and take care of him while we were doing that. Um, just because we lived about an hour away at that point, and the surgeon was like, just until the catheter comes out, it's easier to just keep you here and monitor than you having to come back and forth.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, those 4 days were hell because I mean, the bladder spasms and all that
Yeah.
sucked. So, the biggest advice I can ever give is distraction and popsicles.
Preferably rainbow.
Rainbow, purple, orange. He was happy with all of them. And anybody questioning screen time during all this, just give it to them.
That's so like controversial these days, but at the same time, like until you're inside those moments, like I don't feel like you can ever have a true opinion because like to distract your child through discomfort or bladder spasm, especially, I mean, obviously they went through surgery, like it's not like they fell and scraped their knee, so we
Yeah.
totally get it. All hands on deck. And you
Yeah.
have to, I always tell like the patients that I see, like you have to do what's right for you and your family inside the 4 walls that you live in. And technically no one else needs to know if they have screen time or popsicles for breakfast or not. Doesn't matter.
No, absolutely. You do what works for you.
And it sounds like you guys are doing a phenomenal job and you definitely have one heck of a story. And I'm so thankful that you felt safe enough to share that, because one of the biggest things for me, especially as the mom going through it, is I had someone in the area that her son was also diagnosed with hypospadias, and she sat with me and she talked. I mostly cried for like 2 hours, but she talked to me about what they've been through and her experience, and it was helpful to know somebody else that had walked similar steps and had been through similar things. And our sons are at different stages of all of that, but it was still very helpful to hear their story. So I definitely think that we will help a lot of people with your bravery to share.
I feel my son has a good story. Like he had 2 surgeries, they went as planned, and now he's healing well. He's doing great. And you hear so many horror stories. It's like some of them go right, some of them go great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a situation you ever want to find yourself in, but there's happy stories to it too. So.
For sure. I agree with you. I actually got I had to get off the Facebook groups for a while because some of the stuff that was in there, it was just for lack of better terms, like the extreme and of the negative outcomes. And it was just hard to constantly be like inside of that space and see that.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
thankfully, once everything happened with our 3 surgeries, and same, like I feel very blessed, like everything went as planned technically, and he's healing and he's great and he's crazy. But then reconnecting with some of those spaces again, you still see the extremes of both scenarios. And I don't know if we feel like we can't talk about our story because like you said, like it was a good outcome, but I think it's agreed with you. Like it's still important to share because everyone's going to have a different experience.
And plus I feel on those like those Facebook groups, being on the other side, it's like it feels good to kind of share any tips or tricks you have. Like I'm really proud of my double diapering technique. I had it down pat. It feels good to be able to help out now being on the other side. Hopefully.
Agreed. And I think it's so helpful just being able to to connect and to share your story and to help other parents and caregivers going through this, because as you remember in that space, like it's just isolating and devastating. And it's nice that there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
And especially because of the nature of it, a lot of people aren't comfortable sharing
Yeah.
and talking about it.
Yep.
And I know it's something we definitely struggled with at the beginning is, do we tell our family? Do we tell our friends? Like,
Yep.
it's not just our privacy, it's our son's privacy. And what would he want, when he's 16, when he's 20? Does he want auntie whatever to know about this?
Yeah.
We can definitely relate to that. That was my biggest thing with even deciding to do this podcast and share and try to build a community to help others going through it was that's our son's business. But I think that it's going to help enough people, and I think he'll understand, and it's a part of his journey still. So it's not like he did anything wrong. He doesn't need to be ashamed of it. One question I had that kind of popped up in my head was, you said that it was almost like a fusion. Were there any other ties or because we had a tongue tie that we dealt with. So it almost seems like there were multiple ties for us on the midline. Was that something that they kind of mentioned or talked about, or was that just kind of part of it? And
So we didn't have a tongue tie, but my son does have, he's extremely nearsighted. Like he wears glasses that are stronger than mine. And we found that out when he was about 11 months old, because he did have one eye that was pulling to one side. And then we went and got it checked out, and he's extremely nearsighted. And so I've kind of dove into a little, like, is that related? And there's a few things that kind of come up. And then what's happened recently is we've noticed that he has very poor low light vision. So like if at nighttime and stuff, he can't really see at all in low light. And we're actually going for genetic testing this week to see if that relates to a genetic disorder. So far the doctors think he's in the clear from preliminary tests, but they want to be thorough because there is enough markers to be like, it's checking some boxes, but not others. So we want to be thorough.
Yeah.
So we are looking into that. And right now we're just doing ocular genetics, but we have talked about doing a full genetic panel to see if there's anything else going on.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And always knowledge is power, right? Hoping that information. Yeah. Well, great. Thank you so much for your time, and
Thank you
for your vulnerability.
hearing the podcast.
Oh, it's our pleasure. It's been really well received. So I feel really good about like having people like you on and sharing different stories and just expanding this community to make it helpful for all kinds of people, not just for hypospadias, but all kinds of different childhood conditions, and the support needs to be there. So we're excited to do it.